Okay, guys, today we're going to be comparing and contrasting autobiographies and biographies. We're going to compare them and find some similarities and contrast them and find some differences. Okay? First, let's look at the word. Autobiographies and biographies. First of all, we find a similarity. Okay? They both have the word biography in biography. Autobiography has the word biography in it. So, we know that the word bio means life. So one similarity is there's stories telling about people's lives. Okay? Stories telling about people's lives. Now, these people are usually famous or have made some kind of important contribution to society. Okay? Usually someone influential. We'll say influential. Now, when you're telling a story about someone's life, it's important to get the facts right and to not make things up, right? So both of these texts are going to be factual, which means, does that mean that they're fiction or nonfiction? It means that they're nonfiction, because nonfiction means that it's something that really happened. I always equate the word fiction with false. And so if something's nonfiction, that means it's not false. That's how I remember the difference between fiction and nonfiction. Okay? So they're both nonfiction genres. And then we did actually read one autobiography this week that kind of broke that rule. It was an autobiographical fiction, which was interesting, which meant that it had a lot of true things in it, but a few things were made up. Okay, some more similarities. They're both going to have an author, right? You have to have an author to tell a story. Both have authors. But what's that difference between them having to do with their authors? Autobiographies are self-biographies. That means that they're written by their author. So I'm going to write A right here, because this is something about an autobiography. I'm going to put B down here for biography. An autobiography, the story is about the author. So the author's writing about themselves, right? The subject and the author are going to be the same thing. So if you're looking at a book cover of an autobiography, it's going to have, maybe it's an autobiography about, I'm trying to think of one, like a famous baseball player, right? But he's writing it himself. So it's going to have the same name in the title as it does for the author's name, right? And sometimes on autobiographies, it says autobiography on the cover. So it kind of, it gives it away, okay? And then in a biography, the story is not about the author. The author must research about the subject's life. So since in a biography, the author, it's not about their life, they have to do some research and make sure that, you know, they're telling factual information about their subject's life, the person's story that they are telling. So they might conduct interviews, they might read other biographies, they might, you know, look up important stats and figures about what that person did during their life. And so they're going to have to do some research into that person's life, whereas in an autobiography, well, you already know all the things about yourself. You might, you know, dig into maybe some of your old journals that are written by you, or, you know, look at some of the trophies that you won to find the date on them, so that you can, you know, make sure that the information that you're putting in is factual and true. But for the most part, that in an autobiography, the author, they already know all of their own thoughts and feelings, right? And their own experiences. So they're not going to have to do really as much research as someone who's writing a biography. And then in a biography, when you're looking at the title, the title is going to have the subject's name, and then the author's name is going to be something different, right? It's not going to be the same as the subject or who the story's about. Alrighty, so these have been our similarities and our differences between an autobiography and a biography. If you get confused, just pay attention to what's different between the words. Autobiography has the word auto in it. Auto means self. Biography doesn't have that. It's not about yourself.